Hello friends, welcome to CS Tubes. The objective of this video is to generate a finite automata that can accept all the strings ending with double A for alphabets A and B. The strings that can be accepted by this automata is W equal to W dash double A, where W dash belongs to A and B set. Example AA, AAA, BAA means all the strings ending with a double A in the ending can be accepted using this finite automata. From this example, we can find that the minimum string which must be accepted by this automata is double A. The finite automata can be represented using 5 tuples. These are the 5 tuples which are required to represent a finite automata. Capital Q is a finite set of states. Summation is a finite set of inputs A and B. Delta is a transition of one state to another state using the symbol from the input A and B. Delta can be represented using a graph or a table or a function. In our case, we are going to use a graph for the representation of delta. Q0 is an initial state and belongs to the set of states that is capital Q. F is a finite set of final states, and mathematically it can be represented as F is subset or equal to capital Q. Before generating the finite automata, we should keep in mind that what is the meaning of acceptance of a string. So a string is said to be accepted only if reading the string we can reach to the final state. Otherwise, the string is said to be rejected. To generate a correct finite automata, it is necessary to check strings that satisfy the condition should be accepted by the finite automata, and the strings that are not satisfying the condition should not be accepted. For example, all the strings ending with double A should be accepted by this particular finite automata, and all the other strings that are not ending with a double A should not be accepted by this particular automata. We can generate this finite automata using 6 simple steps. The first step says that create the initial state and name it as Q0. We are going to generate this automata using a JFlap software. First of all, we have generated a state and make it as an initial state. Now, the second step says that generate the finite automata for the minimum string. For this question, the minimum string is double A. Take another state, make a transition for a single A. Then take another state and make a transition for the second A. Now, starting from the initial state, reading first A, we reach to state Q1, and reading second A, we reach to state Q2. According to third step, make the state accepting the minimum string as a final state. So the state that can accept the minimum string of double A is state Q2. So make this particular state the final state. Just right click on this particular state and make it final. So now we have both initial and final states obtained in our transition diagram. According to step 4, check the transitions for all the input symbols for every state. There are two input symbols in this question, A and B. So we will check the transitions for A and B for all the states. What we can see is that for state Q0 we have a transition for symbol A, but there is no transition for symbol B. We will check all the possible conditions, all the possible transitions that can be made using symbol B. So we can transit to either state Q1, or we can transit to state Q2, or we can loop it over Q0. First of all, let's check if we are transiting from state Q0 to Q1 reading a symbol B. Then the string that can be accepted is B and A. BA doesn't end with double A, so it should not be accepted by this finite automata. So this is wrong. This transition cannot be taken. The other possible transition that can be obtained is moving from state Q0 to state Q2 reading a symbol B. According to this transition, the string that can be accepted is B, as starting from initial state, reading a symbol B, we can reach to the final state. But this should not be accepted because it is not ending with double A. Hence, we cannot take this particular transition. Now, the only condition left is to have a loop on Q0 itself. So if we are having a loop on Q0 itself, so any number of B's, the string will always end with a double A, because reading double A only, it can reach to state Q2, that is our final state. Now we can see that for state Q0, both symbols A and B have a transition. Now we will check for state Q1. For state Q1, there is a transition for symbol A, but there is no transition for symbol B. Again, we will check the transitions that are possible from Q1 to any other state using symbol B. Let's check for a transition from Q1 to Q1 itself as a loop using a symbol B. Suppose we are having a loop over Q1 itself. Then it can accept all the strings such as A, any number of B's, and then again A. That should not be accepted as it is not ending with a double A. So we cannot have a loop over Q1. The next possible condition is having a transition from Q1 to Q2. If we are having a transition from state Q1 to Q2, then starting from initial state, reading first A, we reaches to Q1, and reading a B, we can reach to our final state. That means this machine can accept AB. That is also wrong, as it is not ending with a double A. Now the last possible condition is having a transition from Q1 to Q0. If we are having a transition from Q1 to Q0 using a symbol B, then this is correct, as reading any number of A, B, it will always end using double A. So we will make it the final transition from Q1 to Q0 reading a symbol B. So for state Q1, both the transitions for symbol A and B are complete. Now we will check for state Q0. For Q0, there is no transition neither for symbol A nor for symbol B. First of all, we will check for symbol A. Suppose we are having a transition for symbol A from state Q2 to state Q0. Then it appears that this particular transition is correct, but it cannot accept if we are having 3 A's. However, 3 A's should be accepted because 3 A's are ending with a double A. As we can see, starting from initial state Q0, starting from state Q0, reading first A, we reach to state Q1. Reading second A, we reach to state Q2, and reading third A, we reach to state Q0, and Q0 is not a final state. So we cannot have this particular transition. Now, we will check a transition from state Q2 to state Q1 and reading a symbol A. According to this, again, the same condition will not be satisfied. Reading first A, we will move from state Q0 to state Q1. Reading second A, we will move to state Q2, and reading third A, we will move to state Q1, and Q1 is not a final state and hence the string is not accepted. However, this should be accepted. The only possible condition left is to have a self loop. Now, having a self loop, the condition is correct. We can have any number of A's and it will be on the final state. So, if we are having 2 or more than 2 A's, it will always be there in final state. Now, for Q2, the transition for symbol A is complete. We will check for symbol B. For symbol B, the possible transition can be a loop over Q2 itself. Suppose we are having a loop over Q2, then it can accept all the strings ending with any number of B's. That is wrong. So we cannot have a transition of B as a loop. The second possible condition is to have the transition of B from state Q2 to Q1. But this will accept a string ending with A, B, as starting from initial state Q0, reading symbol A, we reach to Q1, reading symbol A, we reach to state Q2, and reading a symbol B, we reach to state Q1, and then reading A, we reach to state Q2. That means all the strings ending with BA will be accepted. So this transition is also wrong. Now the only possible condition is to have a transition from state Q2 to state Q0. This is correct because any number of B's, we will always end with a double A. So this is the final automata which is obtained. According to step 6, the finite automata obtained after following these 5 steps is our final output. Now let's check whether this finite automata is correct or not. First of all, we are passing a string A, B, A, A. Initially, we are at state Q0. Reading first A, we reach to state Q1. Reading a B, we go back to state Q0. Reading another A, we reach to state Q1, and reading second A, we reach to state Q2. And Q2 is our final state. The string is complete and it is ending with double A. The green color shows that the string is accepted. Let's check for another input. Suppose we are passing an input as AB, AB. Initially we are at state Q0. Reading first A, we reach to state Q1. Reading a B, we come back to Q0. Reading first again A, we reach to state Q1, and reading a B, we come back to state Q0. Q0 is not a final state and hence the string is rejected. That can be shown using a red color over here. So this is the final finite automata obtained for the machine that can accept all the strings ending with a double A. Thank you for watching us. Please subscribe for CS Tunes for further updates.